When we were last here, winter was just starting to settle in, and there was already a dusting of snow on the hills and mountains that define this part of northern Southland. On our return, the snow's still there, but the weather's starting to improve, with the early signs of spring, newborn calves and lambs clearly evident. The fortunes of Ben Walling and Sarah Flintoft are also improving, thanks to MPI's decision to declare their farm Bovis free.
It was a great relief, but there was no great fanfare. It was just a notice dropped off and a handshake, but we took the kids and a few of our workers off to the Mossman pub and had a nice meal out and a drink to celebrate, because to us it was quite a thing to have lifted off our shoulders. It was a momentous occasion. It's been a major thing that we've been through. Hopefully never go through it again.
It's been a long 8 months since they first realised they had the disease and had to progressively put down or send away to the works the calves and young bulls they'd put so much work into.
It's been pretty tough going, so it just seems to drag on and on and on forever. For one fight or one argument to another, or just trying to work your way through all the things that need to be sorted.
Aside from the mandatory 60-day stand down from having cattle on their farm, the biggest headache has been sorting out who should be responsible for disinfecting their property to ensure there's absolutely no chance of the disease returning.
Quality Assurer were wanting us to clean and disinfect their farms ourselves. My issue with that was no one would give us reassurances of who was liable for any reinfection, which was if it occurred because it wasn't cleaned properly to start with.
Assure Quality, the government-owned business responsible for cleaning farms, telling farmers they should carry out the work themselves, against the advice of MPI, which said somebody independent should do it to ensure it was done properly. Effectively, one branch of government giving contradictory advice to that being handed out by another branch of government. Then there's the 2/3 compensation Ben and Sarah are still owed for their lost income.
We've had about 560,000 out, and we're about 1.7 million the total claim, and there's still a few complicated claims to go through. Reason why they're complicated is trying to verify them to the last cent to suit MPI's system.
Sarah Flintoft says applying for compensation is a full-time job.
It's been more of a hassle than most people realise, and that's just to get to the stage where you can lodge them. So yeah, it's been quite draining. I think we've realised we're sort of starting to come through it a bit now, but through the period I could see Ben's was quite strained, and I was probably looking the same. It has been a strain. And it's not just animal welfare, it's human welfare is a big thing in this whole process.
Sarah's relieved they no longer have to disinfect every car or piece of machinery coming onto the farm before it leaves. And she's grateful the stigma of owning an infected property has finally been lifted.
I don't think people realise that you do have that worry of going out onto other people's properties or other animals, or being in contact with other animals. As I say, I'm part of the hunt club. I didn't like going out to hunts in case there was a stigma that I might have had, an infection on the horses or the wheels or anything like that.
Sarah says they've noticed cars slowing down as they pass their place, wanting to get a look at what an infected property looks like. But she's thankful none of their 3 school-aged children have experienced any of the bullying that's been reported by some living on infected farms.
So I rang the school principal in January before the school went back and said, look, we've got a bit of a problem going on the farm, just keep an eye out for the kids for us. The signs are going up at the gateway, so the bus will be pulling up there every day, and just make sure that, they're kept an eye on. But I've checked with the kids and they said, look, no one's mentioned it, everyone's been in support, and that's just... yeah, brilliant. That's a good rural community. No one's asked for this jolly bug. We're all trying to work through it as best as we can, and I appreciate that's how things have been handled.
She says those worried about outing themselves as having the disease need to know there's nothing to be afraid of.
I've had little gifts arrive in the mail from businesses that I deal with in Winton, just to say, thinking of you and all the best. Friends call in with gift hampers and all sorts. I must say, the community's been amazing. And I think for farmers that sort of are a bit shy of coming out and saying, look, we've got a problem here, we've got this jolly Bovis, I think they should put their hand up and say, look, let the wider community know so they can sort of, assist and support, because that's really helped us along.
As for what they'll do next, Ben says their days of fattening up calves for beef are numbered. Before Bovis, he'd drive all over Southland, gathering calves from 20 or more properties, taking them back to his farm, where they'd be all placed together in a paddock or pen. The risk now that one of these calves could be infected and potentially pass the disease on to the entire herd means Ben needs to know a lot more about the farms they're coming off, and needs to restrict the number of places he gets them from to 1 or 2 trusted sources.
Our long-term plan is to convert one of the properties we have up at Five Rivers that has a dairy consent already on it, and pretty much the sole reason is so we can go self-contained, using the dairy farm to supply our own beef cattle. We'll probably move away from bulls just to cut down the risk of reinfection. We just don't want to go through this again.
While Ben and Sarah Walling have finally turned a corner and can now start farming again, efforts to eradicate this disease from the rest of the country are still very much in the early stages. 3 months on from the government's bold announcement that it was going to spend close to $900 million trying to eradicate this disease, doubts still remain over whether or not this can be achieved. A crucial signpost in the road is the next round of national bulk milk testing for Bovis, which is now underway and will tell us just how far this disease has spread around the rest of the country, and if the locking down of farms such as Ben and Sarah's has actually helped to halt its spread. As for MPI's handling of those with infected properties, its head of biosecurity, Roger Smith, says Assure Quality was wrong to tell the couple they should be disinfecting their own farm.
We encourage that you engage contractors because they need to be measured and monitored, the process.
Okay, so if a farmer was asked to do it himself, the MPI wouldn't be happy with that?
It's not the model that we would take. We need to have an auditable process. The issue with cleaning and disinfecting is that this is the chance to, as it says, particularly disinfect the farm so that it can be safe for uninfected stock to be brought back on the farm after 60 days.
Roger Smith says its investigation into how the disease entered the country, which started over a year ago, is ongoing and was not able to say when it would be completed. Ben Walling is keen to see somebody held accountable for causing so much heartache for farmers like him.
It's very important. There's no point going for all this if there's not understanding how it came in the country. And as soon as they start releasing a bit of that so people get a lot more confidence in the industry, the better.
We say goodbye to Ben and Sarah on a remote corner of their farm where the light is quickly fading and 15 young bulls have just escaped. They order their youngest daughter, Grace, to wait in the car and instruct Maisie, 9, and 11-year-old Jack to help them round up their errant stock. Earlier that day, Sarah told me they knew getting through this period would be a measure of them as a family. From the looks of things, it's only made them stronger. In Southland for Checkpoint, ko Conan Tēnei.